Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back for another YouTube video. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the 8th video I've pre-recorded without posting yet. It is currently Tuesday, July 29th. As you guys can see, the first video I'm posting is gonna be on the 31st, so in 2 days. This video is probably coming out a month later. So I got a bunch pre-recorded, so hopefully you guys have been enjoying them. Regardless, right here we've got a pair of Air Max 2 Low Uptempos. This is my first time hearing about the shoes, seeing the shoes in person. These were sent in by a repeat client, KICKSIGMA. I'll pop his Instagram up here. He's got an amazing collection. Be sure to check his page out, show him some love. He sent in 5 pairs of his shoes, so we're gonna be doing like a part 1, part 2 more than likely. This is not his first order. Like I said, he sent out a pair of Air Max, what were they? Air Max 2, no, what were they? I can't remember. Air Force Maxes. He sent in a black pair of Air Force Maxes and a pair of Flight Posits, the green one. Got those back to him. These are being restored so he can take them with him to the Nike World Headquarters. He has a gathering or a meeting party or whatever the case is. So he's getting some of the shoes restored to bring them with him to the headquarters. So I'm working on these and a pair of Flight Posits first. That way I can get them back to him before August 10th so he can head to the headquarters and do whatever he's got to do in these. And I also had another client with a pair of, with a pair of these 1997 Jason Kids. I believe they're from 1997, but I'm going to be making a video on these, at least if you guys want to see a video. If you don't want to see a video, then I won't. But let me know in the comments right now if you guys would want to see a video on these. This client is also headed to that gathering party. I'm not too sure what it is, and he wanted these fully restored back wearable so he can wear them to the party and gathering, which would be awesome. They look restored, but as you guys can see, they need to be completely re-glued. If you were to try and wear these as is, they'd come apart. That's the last thing we want. So I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen to him. But this video is not about these. We're gonna look at these Air Max 2 Low Uptempos a little closer into detail, then take them apart and start this restoration. Let's do it. So these were originally released in 1994, 95. And the air units on these are completely toast, but the midsoles were made out of Phylon, so they're still intact and actually not crumbling. But since this is the case and the air units are no longer good, we're going to be doing a full midsole swap with a donor pair because the air units are built into the midsole, and to swap them, take the air units out of a new fresh pair isn't always feasible. Now, based on my research, the Air Max 2 Low Uptempos, this was one of the first Nike shoes to feature Air Max 2 technology. And what this is it allows for varying levels of air pressure in different parts of the sole for customized cushioning. It's pretty cool and something I didn't know before looking it up. So let me know if you guys knew that in the comments. Okay, so now that we know a little bit more about the shoes, we took them apart. I grabbed the donors. I want to take the donors apart now before I start prepping the original shoes, the soles specifically, because with the last few projects I've been working on, the original soles have not been lining up with the donor midsoles. Not really a problem when it comes to Jordans, but with Nike, it seems to me that they've been changing the dimensions of their shoes over time. So we have here a high top pair of the Air Max 2 Uptempos the client sent in and provided. Super clean pair. These are from 2016. We're going to be removing the uppers and the outsoles to them, so it leaves us with that midsole. It does have to be repainted, as you can see, but it's already a fresh white canvas for me. I'm just going to clean it up. And then from there, I'm going to see if the soles fit. If they don't, worst case scenario, what we're going to have to do, as you guys seen in other videos, is paint the bottoms of the shoes and then put traction pads on them. I don't really like doing it, not as a service, just as the fact we can't keep the shoes as original as possible. But the client's got to wear the shoes again, you know what I mean? So we really do what we can, and we do the best we can with what we have, you know? So let's go ahead and take these apart and then measure up everything, see if it fits. All right, so we've got these out of the donor separation oven. They're nice and hot. And in my syringes, I have acetone to help assist me with taking the shoes apart and isolating the midsole.
I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to taking apart donors, sometimes they come apart super easy, sometimes it's a pain to take apart. These were sort of a pain to take apart, but regardless, we're gonna do it every single time. No matter how much I struggle or how much acetone I use or heat, I'm not gonna give up until I take these donors apart. And trust me, there's been times where I wanted to give up, but we always push through. I want to mention too, when you're pulling apart donors, you want to be careful. Yeah, you're gonna have to use some force and strength, but you don't just want to carelessly just rip the shoes apart, because then you may end up damaging the midsole or ripping part of the midsole off too. Trust me, I know, I've done it before. And just like that, after some patience and time, the uppers are off, and the soles thankfully came off a lot easier. Literally just peeled them off like a banana. It was super easy. The air units gave me no trouble, which was awesome.
We got the midsoles taken apart. I did prep one already. I did align the soles to the original soles to the bottom of these, and they do fit pretty well. So I'm going to be able to make it happen. I'm going to have to do some finessing, but that's just normal with restoration. If you're a restorer watching this, you probably know a lot of finessing needs to be done in restoration in order to make projects happen, especially ones that don't always align up perfectly. I wanted to show you guys, though, why I did prep and how I prep. Well, I wanted to explain why I prepped one before the other. I want to show you guys a before and after. So the midsole that has not been prepped, if we align the uppers to this original, if we
What the fuck are you talking about?
If we align the original uppers to the donor midsoles, you can see there's alignment issues, right? It's not fitting flush at all. Okay, so in order to make sure the upper sits flush with the midsole, we had to Dremel a lot of this midsole out. That way, when we set the upper and the donor midsole, it fits nice and flush. I don't have like two hands and a desk to... Actually, I do, but I can't show you up close. But best believe this fits. So let's go ahead and use our Dremel tool right over there, prep this one, and then we'll move into the midsole repaint. Then we're going to prep the uppers and original sole. Then we'll apply our glue and take it from there. If you guys are enjoying this video, keep watching.
Perfect. It is going perfect. This restoration is going great so far. We're removing all of the excess old factory glue and adhesive polyurethane that's left over on these soles that my scraper tool couldn't get off. I'm using my heat gun at high heat to really melt that glue. Then the acetone cotton ball is just going to do its job and break down that glue. If you didn't know, glue actually has acetone in it. That's why it breaks down so easy when you use acetone to scrub it. Now with the uppers, I switched my heat gun to about medium temperature heat because I don't want to damage the uppers by applying too much heat and like discolor them, because I've done that in the past too. You know, I've learned from my mistakes is basically the long story short. Now once we've got the acetone and cotton ball step done, we're going to go ahead and use our X-Acto knife and skive off the uppers here. Just the toe cap part area needs skiving, and then we'll take it into the Dremel box after to smooth it out and make sure it's ready for glue. Okay, so now it is time to replicate these midsoles exactly and repaint the donors to match the original look. Here, I've already got them taped off. I did that off camera. We're gonna go ahead and start with a black base coat, and once that's set, we'll go ahead with the Concord custom paint around the heel cup to match the original look. And to help my paint stick better, we're using some adhesion promoter, Bulldog adhesion promoter. It is on the more expensive side. It'll be about like 50 bucks for the can, I think, if you want to purchase it on Amazon, but it does help your paint job stick, especially when you need to put tape over paint you've already applied down. It'll ensure that it doesn't peel off when you go to take the tape off. Because when I was coming up learning how to restore shoes, that was something I struggled with a lot and I hated, because I'd have to restart the paint job. We didn't want that, so it helps prevent it. Now that we've got that black down, you can see I taped off the rest of the shoe, only leaving the part for the Concord paint exposed. And we're applying it very light base coats, drying it in between until it's full in color. Now the moment of truth, taking off the tape, making sure nothing peeled, no paint leaked where we didn't want it to. And it seems to me, even though my camera skills here sucked, the paint job came out just fine. And we'll get a more detailed look at it at the end, so stay tuned. Now we can go ahead and apply our glue to each and every part of the shoe, starting with the uppers. It doesn't matter what order you do it, I just start with the uppers. The glue I'm using is Barge Super Stick Cement. I'll pop it up here on the screen. You guys can purchase this on Amazon in quarts or a gallon. If you're not working on heavy volumes of shoes, I recommend just a quart of it will do you fine. But if you're working on tons of shoes, you might want to consider getting a gallon. As for the paintbrushes I'm using, they're also purchased off Amazon. Literally flathead 50-piece paintbrushes. You can get 50 flathead, 50 rounded for $9.99. It's great. Let me know if you guys would want my Amazon list put together and posted for you to purchase products off of. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so now that the glue has dried and cured, it is now time to bond these back together. And as I said earlier, we're gonna have to do some finessing here. What I'm trying to do is pull that rubber sole to meet the midsole as close as I can, but it just didn't allow for that seamless alignment, which is understandable considering the dimension change and what I'm working with. But I did do the best I could, and we're gonna be filling in those gaps with some black paint later on, just so everything looks seamless. We're not just gonna leave it as is. But other than that, I pretty much had an okay time lining up the rest of the sole. Once that was done, we could bond the uppers heel to toe and then work our way through the sides. Also too, now we can get a good look at how that Concord purple matches with the uppers of the shoe, and it's freaking beautiful. These are coming out great. Be sure to stay to the end of the video where I show how they looked when they came in and how they looked when they're leaving, because it's pretty crazy. I do want to make a note here that you'll see me really working the toe cap area. That's because I'm making sure it aligns as best as possible, and I'm experiencing some troubles. It's not giving me an easy time, to say the least. I even have to pull the shoes back off of camera to make sure I can press everything down. But I wanted to make the point that if my prep work wasn't as high of quality prep work as it is, and to as high of a standard as it is, and my glue application and curing process wasn't the way it is, when I need to bond the shoes in these tricky moments, these finessing type situations, it wouldn't stick. But because everything is top tier, it does.
All right, so we've got these all bonded together. I had to cut the cameras. I had to lock in because as I started to get towards the front, as you saw in the video, it started to misalign. And I started panicking a little bit because I was like, no, no, this can't be happening. Anyways, long story short, I re-glued the first one. It wasn't as good as the second one because I learned from the first one. And long story short, overall, it came out great. It came out good. Satisfactory. I messaged the client. He's perfectly happy with it, perfectly fine. His only concern was that the parts that weren't able to stick down due to the different dimensions from the original soles to the donor midsoles, he was asking me, hey, are those going to still hold up over time? Is it going to affect the wear? You know, can I still wear these confidently? I told him, no worries. It's not going to affect it at all. I was like, if anything, just don't step in any puddles. Worst comes to worst. You know what I mean? But I don't think he plans on doing that anyways. So I want to show you guys how these came out. As you can see a little bit, you know, they look great. This one especially came out much better than this one. The left shoe was the first one. I did the right one second. And for my first time doing this, I'm happy. I'm proud with how these came out. I know the client's going to be happy too. Whether he plans on wearing these at the Nike World headquarters or he's just showing them off, either way, I know they're going to serve him great for that trip, and I'm just happy I was able to do this for him. And the fact that he trusted me with it, I mean, that's the biggest thing. He didn't only trust me with these, he sent 5 other pairs along with these and 2 other pairs before that order. So it's just a blessing all around that people from all over the country and world trust me to restore their shoes. And I just try to do my part to make sure you guys are as happy as possible, both with your shoes and just dealing with me and the experience. Let's take a look at how these came out compared to the befores. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with a fellow classic sneakerhead that would appreciate these. I'm sure they'd appreciate this video, seeing them, be brought back to life. Because I know some of you may have worn these or seen kids in high school or college with these on. So to see them brought back to life with that fresh air bubble is a sight to see, man.